that both Christ and Krishna were amshas, were portions of the Rishi Maitreya, and so that they're both avatars. They're sort of like brothers or cousins or something.
Jesus and Krishna are portions of a Rishi. They are cousins. What truth is there to this, and how should we respond with grace as Christians to such a jarring claim? Welcome to SAFT Expose, where we lay bare claims, arguments and objections against Christianity for what they really are. Recently, Dr. Robert Svoboda came on the Ranveer show to talk about Agora and Agoris. In this video, we'll take a look at a snippet that they released where Dr. Svoboda and Ranveer discuss Christ and Krishna. My friend Anne sent me this video and asked, "What do you make of it?" So, here are my thoughts. For background, Dr. Svoboda states that he was raised in a Christian family and that while he feels a connection to Christ, he also worships Ganapati. For lack of time, we'll look at key moments in the video with regards to Christianity, which means I won't be dissecting what is said about karma or Kuladeva, etc. So, let's dive.
Christianity has a similar yet very different outlook on God and heaven, like when you compare it to something like Hinduism.
Let us be clear about something from the onset. Religions are superficially similar but fundamentally different. It is the differences that are key. If someone says that the elite terrorist and the heroic Indian soldier are similar, you would drop your jaw. Just because both have a gun, are trained to shoot, take orders and have a goal to achieve doesn't make them the same. While these similarities remain, one is a hero defending life, liberty and his nation against external threats of destruction, while the other is a coward. It is the differences that matter. As Os Guinness said, contrast is the mother of clarity.
I have to start off by saying that there is reality and there are structures that people create to assist them to connect to reality.
Dr. Svoboda starts by referring to structures that help connect to reality. But he doesn't tell us what he means by that. He goes on to speak about religion, sampradaya, different sects in Hinduism and the like, but doesn't tell us what it means to connect to reality. If a friend were to tell you that they are trying to connect to reality or are connecting to reality, you would be left puzzled about what he or she meant by that. So just like you, I'm also left puzzled by what Dr. Svoboda tried to convey. But remember this, never let abstract phrases leave you on neutral thinking grounds and make your thought vulnerably exposed to conclude that whatever follows that abstract phrase makes sense. Let's carry on.
There is only one reality behind everything. In the Vedas, they say, ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. Truth is, there is only one truth. But those who know truth, every one of those individuals will describe it in different ways because they have each individual has a different perspective on truth. Each individual has a different perspective on reality.
Given Dr. Svoboda's initial claim about connecting to reality and Ranveer's thought about the similarity of religions, let me make a quick note. If you and I have differing perspectives about what reality is, does that mean that both our perspectives are in line with reality? A claim is true only if it corresponds with reality. So when we have contradictory claims such as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is alive and Netaji is dead, we use our 5 senses to sieve through the data we have surrounding his last known flight and use logic to point that since these two claims are contradictory, only one can be in line with reality and only that one can be true. So the possibility of different perspectives or opinions shouldn't leave us in the open to say that perspectives that are so vastly different can be all true. Which is why it's said that either all religions are false or only one is true. You can't have them all to be true. But here comes the big one.
So when it comes to me, for example, I never, the Christianity, the religion with all the restrictions and I never had much of an affinity for that. I had a strong affinity for Jesus of Nazareth, for the Christ. And I developed at an early age a personal relationship, which I've maintained up until now.
You're still connected to Jesus Christ?
Absolutely. He's my Kula Devata, my Kula Guru. Kula means family in this case. Kula means many things. But in this case, it is the religion of my Kula, of my family, of my physical ancestors. And as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said once to somebody who was considering changing his religion, he said, "Can you change your father?" So it's like, that's something that even if I don't focus a tremendous amount of attention there, that will always be present. I will always acknowledge that. And Vimalananda himself was a devotee of Jesus Christ because he believed, as do some other people here in this country, that both Christ and Krishna were amshas, were portions of the Rishi Maitreya, and so that they're both avatars. They're sort of like brothers or cousins or something. So for him, worshiping Jesus and worshiping Krishna was almost the same sort of thing, because he also did not regard sectarian worship of Krishna or of Jesus as being important. He regarded having a personal relationship with both of those as being important.
I can't help but wonder, did Jesus tell anyone that following him was a collective choice of the family? Did he not say, if anyone wants to come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross and follow me? In fact, in contrast to what Dr. Svoboda says about his relationship with other deities, Jesus demands undivided dedication to follow him. He said, no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. Also, can we keep aside the restrictions and commands that Jesus spelled out and claim to be his follower, claim to have a relationship with him? He said outrightly, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. In light of what Jesus said, did and required, I'm afraid Dr. Svoboda seems to be talking about another Jesus. Now, the most outrageous statement I as a Christian came across was that Jesus and Krishna are portions of a rishi. What backing is there to say that about Jesus? Did he make that claim? In fact, in Dr. Svoboda's worldview, we are left to merely wonder what to do with these claims, because the ability to separate chaff from grain, truth from falsehood, has been cut at its knees by making reality, truth, and personal perspectives into an ambiguous mix. Dr. Svoboda's outlook towards Christianity is what will happen if we push the Christianity is not a religion but a relationship quote far too often and far too literally. It is a religion that has doctrines and heresies. Disconnecting the doctrinal framework of Christianity from the emotional side of the faith leaves one exposed to intellectual paralysis, unable to identify falsehoods.
Jesus made it very clear that there was one reality. And Krishna also made it very clear that there was one reality.
I have no clue how Dr. Svoboda defines or understands the term reality. So I'm left clueless as to what I have to make out of this. Also, still looking for the verse where Jesus says there is one reality.
If I sincerely believe that the supreme reality has ultimately no name and no form, no qualities whatsoever, then it can take on any qualities that it wants to, then I can certainly feel when I am worshiping Jesus that I am indirectly worshiping whatever other devatas I may have a relationship with.
If the Supreme Being has no qualities but is able to take up any qualities, then isn't the ability to take up any quality a quality of the being? Am I the only one finding this phrasing odd? Also, what are these qualities? And how does worshipping Jesus cause one to indirectly worship another deity? From where is Dr. Svoboda making all these connections with Jesus? From his teachings? Well, certainly not. In fact, we shall see soon that Dr. Svoboda seems to be out of touch with what Jesus actually taught. So my question remains, why is Dr. Svoboda making these baseless claims about Jesus without even stopping to back up his claims? I'm just curious, and I'm ready to listen if he were to only point out.
Christians, they refer to God as Abraham was thinking about God, and so do the Jews and so do the Muslims. And Abraham, certainly, to have created these religions that billions of people worship, he must have been quite a guy. But still, that doesn't mean that he was perfect. And he had his own limitations, and partly they were the limitations of the time he lived in. That was back in a time when sacrifices were happening. Sacrifices were happening in the Vedic religion also. Sacrifices were happening everywhere. And that's why Jesus came along and said, I will be the sacrifice. You forget about all the sacrifice thing.
I don't think any Christian considers the beginning of Christianity from Abraham. I let our Muslim friends speak for themselves. In fact, the Bible is clear that Abraham set out to worship the God who pre-existed Abraham and was worshipped by his ancestors. Also, Dr. Svoboda seems to have misunderstood or maybe misspoke that the sacrifices that Jesus replaced were started by Abraham. Christianity has always been clear that it was the partial, imperfect sacrificial system of Mosaic laws that Christ's death replaced. But hey, at least Dr. Svoboda is getting the basics of Christianity somewhat right. I think he'll regain his reputation as someone with deep affinity for Jesus in the rest of the video.
And Jesus defined his religion very clearly and easily and simply. Number one, God is love. And number two, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. And remember that anything that you do is going to come back in your direction. I mean, he called it the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And remember, he was explaining to people who did not have the advantage of abstruse philosophical thought like the people here have had for thousands of years. So he was trying to explain the law of karma to them.
Yes, I spoke a bit too soon. First up, 1 John 4:17 says God is love. Jesus didn't say that. But he did get right what Jesus said about loving your neighbor as yourself. And he should have left it there. But boy, did he botch it up in spectacular fashion at the end. Jesus said, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you." How is this karma? Where did Jesus say your actions are gonna boomerang like the teaching of karma presents it? And where did Jesus call it the golden rule? It looks like Dr. Svoboda may not even have read Jesus' words, but seems to have read up about Jesus from a blog. Hey, at least Dr. Svoboda won't object to this perspective of mine about the reality about him. Thank you for sticking till the end. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay subscribed for more and check out this interaction about how to present the gospel with cultural relevancy to the modern Eastern mind. God bless.